sorry if it's a little bit loud out here. I'm on the side of the highway right now. I'm headed from Arizona to Tennessee for Tennessee Knockout. So I'm super stoked. I'm a little bit nervous, but it's going to be a really good time. I just want to say thank you again for everybody who listens. I know it's been a couple weeks since we've had a new episode, but I've had a lot going on at home, getting prepped for TKO with work and just kind of life in general. So I took a couple weeks off to kind of regather and just focus on my mental health a little bit, and then now we're getting back to it. So this week's episode is with my new friend Jaime. She's somebody who I met through the recommendation of Matt Adams. He was doing Romaniacs and we were talking about me doing it next year. Matt has been part of my kind of line of thinking of possibly doing it for the last few months, and he was one of the first people I reached out to, of course, and he remembered riding with Jaime, so he told me about her. So I reached out and I was talking to her and I was like, you know what, like, let's just get you on here, like, I want to hear all of this. So this is the dirty of Romaniacs, so I hope you guys enjoy it. It's a really eye-opening look at somebody's experience in Atom Class, and we'll see you next week.
All right, so we are officially recording. So thank you so much for doing this, because I reached out to Jaime at the recommendation of my friend Matt Adams, because he met her at Romaniacs in 2022, was it?
Yep, correct.
So he knew that I've been looking to go, and he's like, you should reach out to her, because I was recommended to start in Iron Class, and Matt knows my skill level.
Yep.
And he's like, maybe you should talk to her and see what her experience was like in Atom, and decide from there. So yeah.
So when do you want to go? Like next
2026
year?
Yeah.
Next year.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I should go back.
You should, because we've got, like, I'm trying to convince like 4 people to come with me. So I've got one who's like a definite maybe, and then the second one is trying to figure things out, because that person is like a pro on a team and is trying to see if they can get like funding to go, but is very, very interested. So I'm like trying to inspire all these people to go.
Yeah, right. That was kind of, I mean, I did it for myself, but also like I've always been one to just like, it seems like you're maybe the similar type, like just prove myself, prove a point. I don't know. Not that I have anything to prove, but it just, there's a very clear, like, it's very obvious, especially females, it seems like if they're going to push or not. Like some people are just okay with the trail ride mentality, and that's great. That's just not me. Right? Like if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it 110% and see how far I can push it. And then being short, and I think you're short, right?
Yep. I'm 5 feet.
5 feet?
Yep.
Dang. Okay. And I'm like 5'2", maybe 5'3".
Oh, you're so tall.
I know, right? I know. I need to hear that maybe sometimes.
Dude, I wish I was 5'2". Like if I could, like, that would be my genie wish. One of them would be to be 5'2" or 5'3". Like that, like I'm not asking for a lot, just a little bit more.
Right? I'm sure, because I feel the same way. I'm like, if I were like 5'5", because I kind of like being small and short. Like that's fine. But then, there's times, especially hard enduro, where it's a clear disadvantage, right? So but also I don't know if this is also part of it too. And with Romaniacs, like, again, I don't have anything to prove, but there's almost some ego behind being short and good. Like it's like, I don't know. I think it's something to be proud of. Like we have an extra challenge, and when you can figure out how to manage it, it's kind of it's pretty cool.
I think it's one of the most satisfying things since I started riding, especially big bikes rather. Like when I've been able to get on a big bike, I just lowered my Husky. I bought it last January, and then I lowered it in December. So it's been 7-8 months now, but before that I was in a full-size husky. And so being as small as I am, I dropped my bike a lot. But being able to get on that bike and do some of the stuff that I was doing impressed a lot of people. And I mean, like you said, it's not really about trying to prove something to people. It was about trying to prove it to me that I could do it because that's what I wanted to do. But you still kind of get that, like, when people are like, oh my God, I can't believe you did that. Like, like, all right, that's cool.
Totally. I mean, anybody who's good at dirt biking or pushes or races or just like, there's, as much as maybe none of us want to admit it, there's ego behind it. Like, it feels good, or just being proud. Like, it's just, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Like, I think that.
No, I definitely don't. Yeah. Especially for, like, so I always say that in order to dirt bike, you have to be a little bit crazy, right? Because anybody who jumps on a dirt bike, you're going to fall a lot before you get good. It doesn't matter who you are. You can be 5 years old or 25 years old or 35 years old and just starting, and, you know, you're going to fall. So it takes a little bit of crazy because, I mean, the definition of crazy is, you know, doing the same thing over and over, right? And that's what you're doing on a dirt bike, but you're just hoping for a better outcome every time, hoping you realize what it is you're doing wrong and can get better and improve. But I think that putting the time and effort into it, like you said, I mean, when you're able to do something, especially like I do a lot of drills, and I like when I'm able to do something out on the trail because of the drills, like I feel a lot of pride in that. Like, especially because I was never athletic before getting into dirt bikes. Like, I ran a little bit for a while, but like that's all I've ever done. And I'm like the klutziest person in the world.
Really?
So like I had zero balance. So static balance is something that I've spent a lot of time doing because that I felt like I always say I was at like square -20 when I didn't even start at 0. Like, I have had to get to 0 and I'm about at like 1 now. Like, so, but I mean, I'm pushing, I'm learning. I've progressed quickly for how, you know, recent I started, how little seat time I have. I've done a lot of gnarly stuff, and I mean, I'm not saying I'm good. I'm not out there doing splats and wheelies and stuff, but for, you know, being pretty new, I push myself really hard and I really try. And I've been really fortunate to have people around me who support that and are willing to be patient and kind of give me pointers and stuff. And so that's been really cool. But I mean, just like you said, that effort, I think, it really does. It gives you a sense of pride. It gives you confidence. And I don't know about you, but for me as a woman, previous to all of this, I didn't really have confidence in life. And as a woman, it's hard to find things to be confident about, especially in a very male dominated area.
I fully agree. I mean, the dirt bike for me, I didn't start till I was 35. And same, like, I feel like I met all the right people right away. Like, all my friends are like A racers and local pros. And then I've been fortunate enough to do a lot of different clinics with pro riders who I've befriended, and like, a lot of, like, it's taken me a lot of places and I've met a lot of really cool people, and 100% like the confidence that it gave me just with everything. Like, it had nothing to do with anything, just like waking up in the morning and being like hyped to go do something. And like, something I've noticed, and I don't know how many years in you are yet, but like the progression for me was crazy. Like, I went 0 to 100, right? Like, what's been tough 10 years in now, because you can do the math there, how old I am, like, the progression slows down eventually. And that feels really discouraging, because I think, and I don't know when you get there, or if I don't know where you're at, but like, I was so hyped and so much progression for so many years in a row. And I was like, this is sick. This is sick. This is sick. And then it was like, and then it just felt like stagnant for a little bit, or like I almost even felt like I was going backwards, and I was like, what is this all about? And I think that's been like a new challenge for me, to not get discouraged, because now it's like, the progression is 1 second on a corner, not 30 seconds in a 2-minute section. Like it's, because when you're first starting, it's just things are happening when you're pushing, whatnot. Anyways, the confidence, awesome. Like even the confidence, like the fact that you are wanting to go to Romaniacs, it was the same for me. I guess how long have you been riding?
So technically 7 years.
7.
But those first few years I got like 3 or 4 hours of seat time, if even that. Right. So I really didn't start riding more and getting seat time until like last year when I switched out from the TTR to the Husky. And then so since January last year, I think I did the math a couple weeks ago, and I have probably about 160-ish hours total on a bike ever. And I have about 135 of that on my Husky.
Wow. Yeah. So I would say like you're in it, like you are hyped right now, where it's just like everything so sick. I love that because I try to remember that on the bad days or the hard days. They're not even bad. I think I'm supposed to be better for some reason. Like,
it's funny that you said that because I just went through that. I just went through like this mental crash where I was like, because I ride with guys who are really good. And like most of the people I ride with are guys who are like A class and above for hard enduro. And like, so it's like, okay, like these are the guys who I've been riding with the most. And it's hard to feel like I'm progressing when I'm out with those guys and I can't do the lines that they're doing and I can't do the splats that they're doing and ride up the wall like they can. But then I have to think about how little time that I've really actually had on the bike and what I have done and what I can accomplish. And they've all seen progression in me. I like the guys I was riding with this weekend, I've only known them since February. And my one buddy told me that he's seen an improvement in my climbs since he met me, which is huge because he doesn't give out a whole lot of compliments. Love him to death, but like he's not big on compliments. And I was like, holy shit, okay, cool, this is awesome. But it's cool that they see that progression because I don't always see it. And I post a lot of videos on Instagram and stuff, and I just try and, I try and be real about it because it's like, I'm not that good of a rider. I have wins, but I have a lot of fails too. And a lot of, I call them learning days. Like this weekend was a lot of learning. There was a lot of falling. There was a lot of stuff that I am not comfortable with. But I pushed myself, like you said, and I try and do the things that I'm not comfortable with. And when I'm in a situation where I have my buddies with me and I know they're not going to take me in anything that's too gnarly, they're going to take me to stuff that's just out of my skill set to push me, to help me grow. But they're not going to take me to like a straight downhill, down a, like something super ridiculous that I can't make it. They've taken me to some stuff that I'm like, how the hell am I supposed to do that? But they're like, I think you can do it.
That's awesome. I love that.
Yeah.
It sounds like a very similar path to mine as far as just the start and whatnot. And I think it's awesome that you're considering Romaniacs, and like it'll be awesome no matter what. Like,
I'm super excited about it.
So my experience, so like, so this was 2022, right? So it's already been 3 years. That's crazy.
So you're due to go back.
I'm due to go back. And it was probably like 7 years into my riding, right? So it was kind of like, and then I definitely probably had more hours on my bike because I did race C class 2 years, B class 2 years, and then A class.
Wow.
Of just like regular enduro. And I had done a couple hard enduros here that I did pretty well at. I mean, I did it, right? And then I did a couple enduro cross. So I kind of knew a bit what I was getting into. But nobody knows what they're getting into until they get there.
Exactly.
and I chose Atom Class, which was the very bottom.
Mm-hmm.
And my thought process on that was the time and money to get there.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to just DNF right away or just have it be just way too much. Like I knew I wanted to struggle. We love it, right? You love the struggle.
Yeah.
But you also want to hopefully get through it.
Mm-hmm.
I would say if I went back, I'd absolutely do iron and
Mm-hmm.
maybe even consider bronze. I wouldn't have much confidence about finishing bronze. I will say that, if that gives you any indication. But like,
yeah.
Atom Class for me 3 years ago
Mm-hmm.
was insane. It was hard.
Yeah.
It was, I did it and I finished every day. I cried, I think, every day.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah, it's no joke. Like, so I don't even know where to start.
Yeah, just like,
yeah,
tell
right?
us everything, because like, I mean, I want to know. Like,
I mean, so like getting there, first of all, I had never been to another country. I'd been to New Zealand to snowboard. So it was like culture shock. I didn't pack. There's a lot of things I do different, right? Like I didn't pack my normal snacks. I was like, oh, I'll just get my normal snacks when I get there. No, you won't, because they don't have what you're used to eating. So that was like, so then I'm like anxious and in my head, and now I have different food, and now my stomach's anxious, and like the fuel and my body's just different. So like that was the first thing. The heat, it was really hot the year I went, like 100 degrees. Like I know I got there and like had rented a bike, and I was able to go out and ride it for a couple days prior to the race. So I got to kind of experience the terrain, because the dirt is different. The trees are different. Like just, it's all different. Right. But it was brutally hot, and I'm not a huge heat person. Like it's tough for me to stay somewhat cool. And you got all your gear on and your bike's hot, and the whole deal. So I felt okay about it though. Like after riding, and like the crew that I rode with was just like random guys who had signed up that happened to be renting bikes from the same place. Most of them were in a higher class than me and not as strong as riders as me. Like the instructor was like, oh, you're going to be fine. Like, or guide, whoever he was. He was like, you. And I was like, okay, good. But I just didn't want to go too far in. Like I would say like Atom and Iron is going to be fun. I don't think bronze for your first trip is wise. I will say that. I don't even know how you ride, but I just know that they do make it very difficult. The first day I did do the prologue, which as an Atom rider and an Iron rider, I don't think you even have to. I chose to because they said, well, one, I was there, so why wouldn't I? And then, right. And then two, if you did participate, it would move your start time up. So like if there's 100 people in your class or whatever, and then, so I was like, we'll just see what happens. And I think I was like 8th in the prologue, which was sweet, because then I got to start earlier. And I didn't take it, not that I didn't take it serious, but I didn't race it. I just went out there and just did it. And I walked down like a boulder pile because I was like, well, I don't want to crash. Because it's, just like I made smart choices like that. And I just got out there, experienced it, had a great time. Being a female, I'll tell you right now that you have all the fans. They do. They're like, oh, gosh, it's a girl. Like, so that was sweet. And then the first off-road day, I'm trying to think, like, obviously I was super nervous and just like, I mean, you can imagine, right? Like, I'm sure you're nervous just thinking about it, right? I would assume so.
A little bit,
But as soon as you get on your bike and 30 seconds down the the path. You're like, okay, I'm just riding my bike.
Yeah.
And everything was pretty sick. Like there was a ton of just single track through woods and flowy and whatnot. But what is insane there, and I'm sure you'll hear over and over as you ask people, are the hills.
Yeah.
The hill climbs and the descents are insane. Even in Atom Class, there were multiple men bulldogging their bikes down stuff. Like,
yikes.
Yeah. So it's
okay. So like what makes them so crazy? Like, is it they're just long? Are they like super like technical? Like,
not technical. I wouldn't say that's the word. They're long and steep, like steeper than anything that I would ride on a normal, like in order to be prepared for the downhills, you're going to need to ride ridiculous downhills that you don't encounter on a trail.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. You know what I mean? You're going to have to be like, oh, that hill is crazy. Let's go up and down it like 100 times today.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was.
There's some stuff like hills wise. There's some stuff in Jawbone that I like in California because I ride out there a lot that I think like height wise would be very similar. It was very sandy to go up. But they're long climbs and I've only done the baby climbs on that, but I feel like that would be good. But I know that my friend just did Silver this year and he said that the closest terrain in the US that he's ridden is out in Kairos in West Virginia. He said that's probably the closest you can get. He goes, so if you want to train, he goes, go out there. So
yeah, I do remember like just like, and even the guide from where I rented my bike, they even go over like, shutting your bike off, like definitely like killing your bike and just using your clutch to like, and let the engine do its thing. And like, I mean, they are steep. Like you need to go in almost at a stop with perfect form because by the time, because it just goes forever. Like scary because like there's sometimes like, and to be fair, like downhill was my weakness. Probably because we're short, and so everybody's like, yeah, get your ass back.
Yeah. And you're like, my arms are completely out and I can't get any further back. Yeah. I get told that all the time. They're like, well, you need to get back. I'm like, that's legitimately like, I need arm extensions to go back anymore. Like,
so that is a factor because I mean, we're small and we can do it. I will say the biggest tip that I've ever got, Chris Birch, and it was from a video, and he said, hide behind your handlebars. And no matter how many times people told me to get my ass back or my arms straight or my heels down on my pegs, hiding behind the handlebars was what did it for me, because then my center of gravity came down and I legit was like, anytime I was going down, if I wasn't straight up like hiding behind my bars, I knew I wasn't in good enough form.
Okay.
So next time you go out and ride, just kind of like think about that. Yeah. I feel like that one little tip, you know, there's 10 ways to tell people to do the same thing. It's no different than, but that helped a lot.
That's my thing. Like I love, so I've done a couple clinics, like I've done a couple with Jarvis. And like, I mean, my first one with him was when I was on my TTR. So like that man was yelling at me, like, I knew hardly anything about riding.
Right.
But yeah, like I have all these people. I'm doing one with Louise Borsley this week, right before TKO. I'm hoping to get with Destry Abbott in the next month or so. Like I want to learn from everybody because just like you just said, like everybody has a different way of explaining it and there's context, and one person has had experience and will explain that context that you can use out on the trail versus the other person who has a completely different experience and will give you context for something else. It's all still maybe downhill, but it's like rocky versus sandy, maybe, you know, and it's like maybe you're going to do things a little bit differently. So
Yeah.
I love learning. I'm a nerd, so like that's probably part of it. But
I've done a
yeah,
couple of clinics with Destry, and something I really love about his feedback is he films you nearly the whole time, especially when you're doing sections or whatever, and then he'll
yeah,
talk to your phone to you,
yeah,
and then you, after the day's over, you can go through and be like, oh, I see it, and I see what he's saying.
yeah,
It matches,
yeah,
and he'll obviously stop you and
yeah.
make sure you understand like what you're feeling, or if you think you're, that's just it, is like half the time we think we're doing it and then we're like, oh
Mhm.
god, that looks so dumb.
Mm-hmm.
What an
I
idiot.
just did that. I just did that last week. Like I've got this little log that I've been practicing on, just trying to get my front up, just, trying to be consistent with it. And I filmed myself doing it. And I was like, oh my God, my body positioning is totally not doing what
Yeah,
I thought it was. Like I
yeah,
thought I was doing something, but it looks like I'm just sitting on the bike. And I was like,
right.
So back to the drawing
Disappointing.
board. Got to do it. Yeah.
Yeah,
I've got to go back to the videos and like re-look at it and figure out what it is I'm doing. But having phones is a huge advantage these days. Like you can do that. Like it's amazing that you can just like I record myself all the time. I don't post it all because
right.
I feel like a dork 99% of the time. But I do try and post some of it just to keep encouraging people. A lot of people like to see people doing drills because it reminds them that it's
Yes.
good to do. But I mean, I think the drills have been huge for me and my progression, doing drills like a couple times a week and then making sure, I mean, obviously I need seat time too, because that's been one of my things was I started out doing a lot more drills and I
Mhm.
didn't have a whole lot of time out on the trail. So I would get super visually intimidated. I would see a big rock and I would just freak out because I'm like, I don't know what to do. Like, just seeing things was scary. I
Yeah,
think that's one of the big advantages that I have right now is so much time in California and everything's huge in California as far as like hills and stuff. So some of
right,
the stuff that I've started to do since I've started hanging out with these guys scares the hell out of me.
right.
I had only done like 2 real big downhills ever prior to coming out here. And the first ride I did with the guys, they're like, all right, we're just going to go up this mountain and then we're going to come down this mountain. And then
Yeah,
the next weekend, we went out to Jawbone for the first time, and like everything out there is just huge, like
yeah.
hugely huge. And I was like, I went to Erzberg this year, and like
Okay.
that was such a cool experience. But seeing some of the like Erzberg's bigger, but
Right.
it gave me a good idea of like what the craziness can be of some of those like
Yeah.
descents and climbs that they will have at Romaniacs because I talked to a lot of the pro riders and stuff and I was like, are these like similar to Romaniacs? And they're like, oh yeah, it's like this but like twice as long but just as steep. And I'm like, oh my god. Like,
I don't like no like hill climb sticks out in my head. I'm
you
also
blocked
not,
it all.
yeah. Well, and I'm pretty confident with hill climbs.
Yeah.
So maybe that's part of it. Cause I know we did. I do remember one day we got, so when you're out there, there's splits, so
Yeah.
sometimes you're like Adam is, I know we rode like a bronze hill climb at one point and I had a
Mhm.
blast. It was super rocky and technical. And I was like, oh, this is sick. I totally got it. I would have hated to continue on that path, but there was, yeah, I would say the biggest thing was just being prepared for the downhills. And I would say even practicing like intentionally lay your bike down. Like if you can get to a stop and like lay it down sideways, and then can you get
Mhm.
back up and get
Yeah.
on your bike and
Yeah.
like do that? Because that's tough when you're short, especially, and like
Mhm.
having the courage to have it sideways and then committing to the drop in,
Yeah.
you
Yep.
know, like, because man, you don't want to waste your energy like
Mhm.
sliding down a hill. Like that would just ruin your whole day. Because there was definitely I mean, I think it was pretty common. I was out there for 6 hours. There was probably a couple 8 hour, they were long days.
Yeah.
Just,
That's a long time to be on the bike.
it's a long time to be on the bike.
Mhm.
And just, yeah. And you can't hardly drink enough water or nothing. Like, it was just like, you're just kind of sick of everything. That's how I felt. Like, I was like, just put me to bed. The grass there is different. I remember really thinking that was wild. Like, a lot of times when you were in just a nice open single track area, it was like really lumpy grass or something. Yeah, just like I remember that being like, I actually had an interview and some chick was like, yeah, that's what it is here. We call it like Oompa Loompa glass or grass or something else. What? It's really bumpy.
Oompa Loompa.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it was Lenny. Yeah, it beats you up and is just not smooth.
Yeah.
You can do it. It's just different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's slippery, like if it's wet or in the morning.
Yeah.
A lot of like, Colorado's so dry. We don't get like little tiny logs that take you out of nowhere. But
because they're slick, right?
Yeah. So like little tiny logs just taking you out of nowhere. You're like, what was that?
I have had the advantage of I did a lot of riding East Coast. And so like this year I did my first hard enduro. I did Battle of the Goats. So there's a couple sneaky logs like that I almost I was like, what just happened?
Totally.
So I've experienced that one. I could do that.
Right. Yeah. I'm trying to think what else, like just like terrain is.
Yeah. Go ahead.
What were you gonna say? I don't know.
Oh, I was just gonna ask, like, so as far as like what the day looks like, it's like structured. Like you're spending 6 to 8 hours on the however long on the bike each day, but like when you're getting up in the morning, like what are you eating? And like what are you eating at the end of the day? Like what does it look like when you have to get off your bike?
So every day was different. So your start times are based on your finish times. Okay. So there was one day that I got a call at like 4:30 in the morning to get up and like,
wow.
And you have to stay awake. That was okay. So let's see if I can remember this correctly. You go out, you race, and then you turn in your GPS and all the stuff. It's insane how organized they are. I do remember that. I was like, holy crap, my little race series is out of control because these guys are managing hundreds of people with GPS. Yeah. And they're handling it. Like it's so organized. It was wild. But you stay up until, I don't know, it was probably like 9-10 o'clock at night before there's like a riders meeting, which is online, like this. And that's when you would know your start time for the next day. Okay. And so you might have to, I mean, you could go to your hotel or whatever, nap, and then wake up. I'm sure that's what a lot of people did. But then to find out like, oh shit, I got to set my alarm for 4:30 and then my ride's going to pick me up and drive me like an hour and a half to like, there was one day, I think we almost drove. It was for sure over an hour to get to our start in a vehicle. Wow. Yeah, it was wild. So the place that I had rented a bike, I kind of rented my bike and a pit crew and just let them. Which was awesome because
so it was the support. It was the full. Okay.
Yeah, because they make your lunch and like when you come in for my guys did. Yeah, like they asked me what I want for lunch and then they have that at your, I forget what they call it, for your mandatory stop, but your lunch stop. I would roll in. It felt really cool. I roll in and one guy grabbed my bike, put it on a stand, start working on it. Another guy like made some mark on my helmet, got my food out, told me to sit down and eat. And then they were watching their watch. They're like, okay, you got 5 minutes, you got 4 minutes, you got 3 minutes. And then God. So I didn't have to think about that sort of stuff, which was super ideal. So breakfast though, like that was tough. Again, Romania, me not knowing. I'm like, yeah, I'll get like bacon and eggs for breakfast. No, you won't. You're going to have like sausage and I don't even know. Like it was like food. It was very different for me. I was like culture shock. I was like, oh, this is so different. So I probably didn't fuel properly, to be honest with you. I just tried to choke down whatever I could. I'm not a breakfast person, so I was like, if I could get oatmeal in me or like just anything. And then I just tried to snack on whatever I could. And then we always found like pasta at night, chicken pasta and like anything in town. Yeah, food was tough. If I went back, I would definitely have to figure out what I was going to do about food. I would pack way more.
Yeah.
That way I could have like my protein shakes or recovery drinks, or even something as simple as like I love like hammer gels or I don't know, Cliff bars, like whatever you're used to having is what you should be bringing for sure.
Yeah.
Not the time to try something new. Yeah, it was wild. So I would just get up and kind of just sleepwalk around, like try and use the bathroom. This is like something that maybe people don't talk about. Like,
I was literally going to ask that. I was going to be like, okay, we need the dirty on like the dirty. Because
honestly,
like,
I told my husband,
especially as a woman, like as a woman being out there, like, what is that like?
Had I known that it was going to be the way it was, I probably wouldn't have gone. I'm like super weird about, dude, I don't like to have to shit somewhere. I don't like to do it. When you're at a race, the porta potties in the morning, it's just what's going down. It's happening.
Yeah.
There, you're in line. It's life. Dude, they don't have porta potties in Romania. It's not the same. There's no bathrooms. If you got to take a shit, you're doing it in the bushes. Like, I don't know if that was just my experience, but I think that's pretty typical for there. So I was always trying to get up early enough to have like a cup of coffee and at least be able to try and use the bathroom, because it's just a comfortable.
Yeah.
Awkward. I don't know. It depends on your personality. Nobody cares except for me.
Yeah.
I'm the only one worried about me. You know what I mean?
One of my best friends absolutely will not even pee in the woods. So like, I can't even imagine like her trying to do something like that. Like, but everybody's different.
Yeah. And truly, like, obviously I'm glad I went, but that would have been a fear for me going into it. It would have been like one more thing to be afraid of. Yeah. Silly, but it's just something I struggle with, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. And it's something that a lot of people don't think about. Like I've been to different events and it's like, okay, there's like one porta potty for like 175 people. Like everybody has to pee in the morning or like you said, take a shit. And it's like, okay, everyone has to use that. There's a huge line. I'm like, no, I'm okay with going in the woods. Like, as long as I know it's like not going to be like where people are going to be walking or something later. Like, I don't care if it's just to pee. Like, I don't want that. Like, just leave me alone.
It was pretty normal. By the end of the trip, I was pretty okay with it. There's actually multiple photos of me in the woods with my pants down because it was just so like, it's just, I was like, yep, this is me. Here I am. I even took a couple selfies because I was like, this is my life now.
But I think that's something that's really cool though, because like you said, it's a fear. So if you had known that beforehand, it's legitimately something that could have kept you from doing it. Honestly. And by the end, you know, you got over it and you're fine. Yeah. I have so many anxieties in my life. Like I understand what it's like to like get over something like that. It seems super silly, but to be able to like, it's one of those confidence building things, right? But that's not really something that people are going to talk about all the time.
Well, and truly, like, I've never really had like an issue being the only girl. Like, that's our life, right? You're just with the guys all the time. But something like that, it is a little bit bizarre when you're standing around like 100 other guys and you're like, oh no, I gotta go to the bathroom. Like, if you, I don't care if I have to pee in front of whoever, like that really doesn't. But if you're anxious and your stomach's like tore up or whatever, like you're just, that was a little bit, but I was like, you know what, this is This is what it is. Like, everybody poops. That's the book.
Yep.
You just gotta do your business. Nobody cares. Nobody's thinking about it. But that is something.
Yeah.
That is something to know.
It's a good thing to know too, because like I feel like a lot of people, when they go to races, they're used to them being so small, at least here in the States, right? They're so small, and you can have a porta potty or you can hold it, and you can't really do that out there. Like, these are really long races.
Yeah.
And
once you're like in the woods, I mean, I could tell you, like, I went a long time without seeing anyone. So that was some anxiety in itself, but also some like, oh, you can use the bathroom, nobody will know.
I tried to do that one time. I was riding by myself, and I was like, I legitimately haven't seen anybody for hours. So I was like, I'm just gonna stay kind of close to the trail because there's a lot of ticks in Maine. And I was like, I'm gonna stay kind of close to the trail. Yep, somebody comes along on a dirt bike, and I was like, oh my god, pants down. The one moment, like as soon as I pull my pants down, I was like, cool, this is great.
So funny.
But so that's my luck. So I would still be like, I can't hear anybody. All right, I'm gonna do this.
Yeah, that's funny. That was a thing. Yeah, I don't know. Like, my husband and my daughter came with me, and which was awesome, but also like, when I got off the bike, they were like, let's go check out town. Let's go do this. And I was like,
you're like, no.
Dude, I got wrung out. Like, I did everything. I walked around. I did all the things with them, and I got up and rode my bike. It was pretty crazy. I feel like
You're
probably
a beast.
Like 2 weeks when I got home. I felt like I just wanted to experience all of it, and I don't know. I made it. I was tired. I was, like I said, so like, I'm pretty sure it was day 2. I had picked up my bike. Maybe 100 times, maybe more. And I was just spent, right? Like, I was tapped, and Graham Jarvis passed me, and I was like, oh, look at that. Like, he was just no big deal. And I'm just struggling. I got through the checkpoint, and I was just like tears. I was so tired. But good. I mean, it was like good. I don't know. Have you been there where you're just like, I was just tapped?
I've never. So it's funny that you say that. My friend told me, you've never done hard enduro if you've never cried on the trail. And we had a day, I was with that same friend, and we did this trail. There's some hard enduro sections on the trail, but it wasn't really supposed to be like that hard of a day. But we kind of got lost, and we ended up spending 12 plus hours on the bikes.
Oof.
And like, by the end of the day, like, there was a point where I kind of was like, I could probably cry right now. Like, I ran out of water, and like, all of us had run out of water. The 2 of them had gone ahead, and like, I had been right behind them, and then I fell, and I was on this hill, and I had fallen like 1,000 times at this point. And they're like, we only have like a couple miles left until the main road, and then we're almost to the halfway point. And the halfway point had a restaurant, so I was like, okay, I'm almost there.
Right.
And so I was like, I can do this, but I was on like this like really rocky path. Like, these rocks are like on top of the dirt, so it's just slippery, right? And it, being so small, I just was having a hard time getting going on the bike. I just kept sliding out. And I was, like you said, I was just spent. I had been almost an hour without water. I was just like picking up my bike so much. They were gone, so I couldn't ask them for help. My bike ended up coming like kind of on me at one point, and I had to like push it off of me, and then I had to pick it up. And I was like, oh my god. I was like, okay, this is like the 3rd point or 4th point in the day where I was like, I don't know if I can do this. Like, I have a Garmin GPS system on my backpack, and I was like, I really might have to actually push this button and make them come and rescue me off of this mountain, because like, I don't know like if I can do this. And it was a huge mental thing, because I'm big on mindset, right? Like, you have to have a hardened mindset to do hard enduro. And I was pushing myself, and I kept getting to this point, And each time I got to that point, I was like, okay, I can push it a little bit further. I'm going to make it to that rock, or I'm going to make it to that point. You know, I kept picking something. And
Yeah.
at this point, I was like, I'm going to make it 5 more feet. I'm going to make it to that log. Okay. Now I made it to that log. Now I'm going to make it to that rock, because I just didn't have it in me to go all the way up. Like I couldn't get the traction. And so it was super, super hard. I was just like, I was struggling, but I wanted to cry, kinda, but then I was like, what is crying gonna do other than dehydrate me?
Yeah, it's gonna make you more tired.
Yeah, and I hate crying, like, in general. Like, it makes me feel super, super tired, like you said. And so I was like, I need all the energy I can right now. I was like, I will cry later. Like,
good plan.
I have not actually gotten to the point where I cried on trail yet. And I say yet because it could be. I'm doing TKO this weekend, and it could be that at TKO that's my breaking point. You know, it could be. I almost did.
I'm pretty sensitive. Maybe I feel like I cry out of anger. Like,
oh yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not that I was out there just like, meh. It just like,
you're frustrated because you can't do it. Yeah.
Just like totally. But and I think, and this is for all racing or all anything, like just keep reminding yourself that, like, if you're struggling, you're not the only one struggling. Like, and I think sometimes I would just suddenly, like, my world get really small, and I'd be like, I'm the only one out here that sucks. You know, and I do all that negative self-talk, and that's not good, because
so that's a huge thing that I had a really rough weekend this weekend with the boys, right? I was on stuff that probably shouldn't have been on the first day. And you know, it's everything. I told Cody, I was like, you brought me to my nightmare. It's everything I'm bad at. It is loose downhill single track. And you know, I got to a point and I stopped because I had fallen twice already, and I was like, okay, this is really steep. I watched them bomb down this and then fly up the other side, and I was like, holy crap. Like, all right, well, here's the 2 things that I have learned in the past, and this is probably maybe the past 6 to 7 months that I've started doing this. I don't say what's the worst that could happen. I say what's the best that could happen. And the reason I do that is because that split second of visualizing me crashing off the side of the mountain, that is a split second of negativity. And, you know, if most of the time this happens, I'm like actively moving on the trail. So like by the time you get to the obstacle, you see yourself crashing, then you're going to crash.
Totally.
And so I say, what's the best that could happen? And I see myself making it up and over, and all of a sudden 9 times out of 10, I make it.
I like
there's
that.
There's still some hesitation factor. When I don't trust myself and I hesitate, I mess up a lot more. If I just trust it and do it, and especially when I'm with the boys, like, they are really, really good, like I said, about taking me to stuff that they have a pretty good idea that I can make it. Like, so if I just trust and I commit, and I trust the fact that I have the skill and that they believe that I can actually do it, then I just need to go for it. Because if I try and be a big fat baby about it, then I fall. And usually that hurts a lot more.
That is like another thing that 100%. Like, I always tell a lot of the girls that I've ridden with, don't give up until your bike does, because that's all, because the bike will do it. The bike can do a lot. Like, any of those guys can get on your bike and you'll be amazed at what your bike can do, right? And so, like, there's so many times that we give up before our bike does, whether it's a dab or just like sending it up something instead of just staying on it. And like, and so I'm with you. Sometimes I'll say just like one more foot, like one more rock. Just leave your feet on for one more rock. Like, because if you can just, aggression, like dirt biking, you're not going to get, you can't be lazy or intimidated. Like, it's not going to go well. And especially when you're short, it's just exhausting. Like, every time you drop your bike or have to balance, like, and fight it, it's so much energy. So that was like Romania especially was like, it was about the long game, right? Like you wanted to make the whole, all the days, and you wanted to finish. And for me, it wasn't about trying to podium. I don't know how many people are going there trying to podium. Like that's a huge goal. Like I think it's badass. Like I was just like, I just want to finish. And so, yeah, just knowing that you're not the only one struggling, one bike length at a time or whatever you got to get through. And like, and yeah, like pausing. Same with like the race coming up, like taking a minute to scope out your line. Like you rushing through something and choosing a poor line is way more detrimental than stopping for a minute, even having some water, checking it out, maybe watching a couple guys do it right or wrong and being like, oh, that's how I'll do it. Because I do remember it may have been the first day even, I had struggled trying to get up this hill climb. It wasn't that it was massive. I think it was really loose, kind of had a big rut in it. And I pushed and pushed and tipped over. And then I finally was like up and I was like, oh, thank God. And I kind of was going. And then there was this super crazy off camber, like super crazy. Like I have pictures of that one actually, where my handlebars are like up against the mountain and then it's just down. And there was like 20 down there. Like there's just people like everywhere with their helmets off. Like, what do we do? Like, and I'm like, okay, that's what I don't want to do. So right now I'm just going to focus on weighting my outside peg, my clutch, and just, I'm going to, no ego here, right? Like I'm going to tiptoe my way across and do this like one little bit at a time. And it was a little bit slow, but it wasn't as slow as the guys who were down at the bottom of the ravine. Like it was like, and I felt really proud of that because I was like, I was smart. I thought about it. I didn't panic, and I just took my time. And there's some people out there, like, I don't know that I had help one day. 3 guys. I have a photo of that too, because I took pictures of all their bib numbers in case they wanted like credit back, because they truly stopped. I had fallen about 8 feet down off I was just riding and it was just kind of like a rolly rock type. I don't know what happened. It was a little bit wet out. I gave it a little bit too much gas. My rear tire went off. And then I was like, balance. And then I tipped over, fell, and my bike came down and my handlebar landed right on my thigh. And I screamed at the top of my lungs because I thought I broke my femurs. Like I screamed and nobody was around. And it took me a while to like wiggle myself out from underneath my bike. And these 3 guys came up and they were like, do you need help? And I was like, yes, I do. And it took all 3 of these large guys to help get my bike back up the side of this mountain. And they were about to call medical. And I was like, no, I can do it. I can do it. That one day left. And so, that was gnarly. I have photos I could send you of that. That was
God.
My leg was like, it's still ruined. Now I have like a dent. It hurts to this day. It's insane.
Oh my God. Well, if you hit it that hard, it probably caused some atrophy to the muscle. So like I could definitely see that. Oh, that's crazy though. Like
that was scary. That was a scary moment. Falling, in the moment, you're like, oh shit. And I knew it was going to be bad. And then turns out it was okay. Everybody was like, are you sure you're going to race tomorrow? I was like, I can do it. I just like,
it's not as bad as you think it's going to be, but you don't want it to happen. Like I fell off of like I think it was my second time ever on single track. I fell 30 feet down a cliff and so my rear tire hit a rock that just came out as it hit and it just like launched me. And I remember the bike hitting me square on the chest. And then I remember hitting the bike and then like we rolled like 4 or 5 times. And it took like 5 or 6 guys to get my bike up too.
Yeah, I bet.
But
damn.
But I had been totally confident on single track. I was like, oh, this is a little sketchy, but like this is literally the one 15-foot section where it was a cliff, and everything else before and after it was completely like it was a rolling grade. Like it would have
No.
been fine if I fallen there, but that's not where the rock was. So yeah, I just like ever since then it's freaked me out being on single track, and I have now been on single track 5 whole times. And
That's
I
it.
yeah.
Oh
I
my
did it. So yeah, I told you I don't have a whole lot of seat time.
God.
So
That's
I did it most of my time, I think 3 times now has been with the boys in California on these crazy downhills, which I was already not comfortable on downhill, but then you add the single track factor and I'm like, oh my God, I'm freaking out. And I mean, I've done it. It scares the crap out of me. So after this weekend,
yeah.
I realized that I need to go back to, and I haven't done these in a while, but the cone drills where you're just like weaving and going through the cones and just being super, super like aware of where my tire placement is, because I think that that's going to be the biggest thing, and doing it slowly, not just like trying to go fast through it, but doing it slowly, really focusing on like lock bar turns is another really good thing, right? For that, because it's balance, but it's also your turning.
Mhm.
And I feel like that's going to be a very big help for me, because that's the biggest thing. I can do downhill as
Mhm.
long as it's mostly straight. When you start throwing curvies into it, that's when it gets in my head. And I'm like, okay, like if you put switchbacks in a single track downhill, I'm the slowest person ever. I'm like
So
molasses.
kind of, yeah. So that kind of, you'll want to, it sounds like chances are like you've done way more drills than even I have. Like the extended, I did do quite a few drills in my past, and like I try my best, even when I'm just going to go ride, to like start my day with like 5 minutes of figure eights or just
Yeah,
anything to like, all right, you know what you're doing, like get loose on the bike, whatever. But
Lucy. Yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
But so I think it was you who said, or maybe it was somebody else, I don't know, that was like, isn't it just kind of like, I heard it's more like just an enduro ride. But I will say, like,
Mhm.
I'm very confident on single track, and
Mhm.
I can rip through tight trees and tight single track, and that's like where I'm at home. And there
Mhm.
is, you know, you put down 60 to 100 miles depending on the day at
Mhm.
Romaniacs, and a lot of it is a fast pace single track, maybe like on a giant side hill, where it would be if you're not used to it. You know,
Mhm.
if I think back years ago, like that would have had me real nervous. And so while
Mhm.
I think that all your drills are wise and great, I would also focus on long rides at
Mhm.
speed, because
Yeah.
there's plenty of times where you are doing like 5 or 10 miles of really pretty, you don't see anybody except for like massive mountains and huge views, where you're just
Mhm.
cruising on tight, like overgrown single
Sweet.
track.
Okay.
So I would
Good to
definitely,
know.
like, if it's not something you do a lot of,
Yeah.
because I would say Atom Class and maybe Iron is a little bit more, but I think they're pretty
Mhm.
similar, to be honest with you. It's a lot of enduro riding,
Mhm.
sections of holy shit, where am I? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So
Yeah.
like, which is fun, because then you're like, okay, if I can get through this, then I'll get a kind of a breather again, and then I'll get
Mhm.
through something again. But and that may be where I did well. Like I think I finished 15th overall. I was the only female to finish that year.
Wow.
And so
Yeah.
I finished really well, and I feel like, of course, we all say this, right? Like I could have done this better or that better, but I feel like I
Yeah.
could do better. Like I truly did say that I wanted to try and podium.
Yeah.
And I think if I did it a second time, like now that the nerves are kind of gone, they'd come
Mhm.
back. But like some of the nerves would go away, you know, just the first time
Yeah.
nerve, that I
Yeah.
feel like I could do. I feel like I could do better.
Yeah.
For sure. But I would practice. Yeah, I would definitely in the downhills. Yes, you absolutely. I was going through downhills, not necessarily single track, but maybe double track and curvy around trees and downhill logs. Also not a fan of that. Uphill logs all day. Downhill logs.
See, I'm the opposite. I'd rather do a downhill log, but I also haven't done like huge downhill logs. They've all been pretty small. So
yeah,
like,
I mean, like I don't know, huge. Like they weren't nothing like massive, but like like a foot in diameter. Not they just weren't small. They were enough that you had to get your front wheel up, and going downhill that meant you had to not be have your weight on your front tire. Like it's a there was some
scary.
Yeah, because you don't want to gain too much speed.
And then
so worst case, then you need to make sure you learn, how to set yourself up next to the log and pivot over it.
Which is something else I'm working on is pivots. But like I said, there's a lot of skills that I know that I'm gonna need that I don't have currently. And I've been like, so I have a friend who did Matt, of course, but then my friend Dimitri did iron last year. And because I was like kind of starting to think about this, I was like really watching his story, and he did iron and he had so much fun, and he kind of like recapped it all, and he's been really open with me about like the things that he thinks that I should work on. And because this is when I was talking about doing iron, and I was like, this sounds like a lot. And then Matt was like, maybe you should talk to Jaime and see like, let's have you like finish and not get hurt. And I was like, yeah, that sounds like the better option. So
dude, day one, I think it is on my Instagram. It's like the only, I didn't even know, because I'm old, that you could like pin like certain, like I have a Romania thing or whatever, you can like click through that. But day one, I think, is where they have you finish at the dam that you always see, like this giant dam, and there's massive boulders. And there's a video of me. I knew it was the finish. I could hear my daughter and my husband yelling, and I was like all hyped up. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna make day one. Like I was like, I felt like I already won, And I sent these boulders like from like here to like 10 feet. I was so proud of myself. I passed like all these dudes, but then I stuffed the front tire in between like two giant bars to my hips. And like Skylar my daughter was in tears when I finished. She was like, are you okay? She was like, she kept asking Matt if is mom going to be okay? Is she going to be okay? She was like, why is she on the ground? Like, it was brutal, man. Like, there is some hard stuff. Yeah. See, just talking about it kind of makes me remember, like, I wish I could my GoPro. I didn't know, and I don't know if it's the same, that you need to sign up to be like, have a media. Like, you can't just wear your GoPro.
Just wear it. Yeah. Because it's a Red Bull event. Red Bull's very, very strict on what you can and can't do at their events. So,
which is kind of cool because it kind of keeps the secret out there. Like, you got to go do it to know.
Yeah. Or you have to find people and talk about it. Like, that's the other thing. Because, like, I mean, it's a huge venture, right? It's really expensive to go over there. It's expensive to rent a bike. It's expensive to sign up. It's a big venture, and that's why a lot of people don't do it. But I went to Erzberg this year because Erzberg was the first thing I ever saw of hard enduro, like 10 years ago, before I even had a bike. Totally. I watched Erzberg, and I was like, okay, Graham Jarvis through Carl's Diner, like I was like, I want a dirt bike one day. Like, this is so cool. And so to go there this year and to see it, I was like, this is absolutely amazing. Because of what I do, I have the advantage of knowing a lot of pro riders. And so I got to hang out with a lot of them. And that was kind of when this started becoming real. And they were like, hey, if we find you a bike, will you ride? And I'm like, hell no. Like at Erzberg, I was like, I mean, that was my dream, like back in the day. But my friend was like, no, you don't want to ride at Erzberg. He's like, it's just a quarry. It's not even that like fun. And I was like, first of all, yes, it would be. Second of all, what? And he's like, no. If you're going to do a race, he goes, do Romaniacs, because then you get lots of riding in. So it's definitely worth the money. And I was like, okay. And that's when we kind of started talking about it, and it kind of all started becoming real. And so I've been talking about it for like a few months, but watching the Champion Brick Racing team go through it, so Matt Adams, Tobin Miller, and then Nick, and I can't remember how to say his last name right now. I think it's Wortham. Yeah. So those three, watching them, I was so freaking proud of them just to know these. Well, the two, I don't really know Nick very well. But just watching them and just like, I was so proud of them. I was so excited for them. Like everybody was super hype, and it was just so cool to watch. And I was like, why not do it? Like, yeah, I'm not a very good writer, but if I could make it happen, like, why not? Like, what's to say I need to be a pro level woman to go to Romaniacs?
Yeah.
Or, you know, even an A class or whatever. What's to say that? If I can make it happen, then why not? I've already shown that I can do things that nobody thought I could do. I was told when I first started riding that I would never get off of the TTR. I would always be on it. I was literally told the first time that I rode, you're never going to be good. So, like, don't try. Like, just, you know, you're going to putt around. That's all you're ever going to do. So, I got away from those people, obviously.
Yeah.
Now I have people who are like, dude, you can do everything we do, and you could go further, and sky's the limit. And it's absolutely insane the amount of confidence I have now. But why not? And if I can go and I can do it, and I can inspire other people to maybe not even go to Romaniacs, but maybe, you know, there's somebody who's in the middle of the country and wants to do a hard enduro, but it feels so far away to go to California or Idaho or Tennessee. And that's their Romaniacs, you know, that's their big travel to go and do a race. Go and do it. You know, you don't have to be a perfect rider to go and do these things. You just have to have the heart and just go. Just want to be there. You're going to have so much fun. I mean, I did my first hard enduro, and everybody knew that I wasn't that great, but I still had people that were supportive. You know, people were so excited for me to be there and doing it. And I mean, I've been talking about Battle of the Goats for a while, and I was like, everybody was excited because they knew it was my dream to do it, and here I was doing it. And I think that a lot of times we hold ourselves into a box, and it's a box that maybe a lot of people put us in, like I said about the TTR and everything. You know, you let people put you in that box, or you put yourself in it, and we don't go for our dreams a lot. I was really sick a few years back, and I was really heavy, but I was bedridden essentially. Like, I couldn't work out, I could barely walk. There's days where I couldn't go to work. I was in so much pain, and I didn't know if that was ever going to get better. And it did. I had surgery. It was fine. It took a while, but this is what happens after it. It's probably an overcorrection, but I have the ability and I have the health now. So I started running, and I was trained for an ultra marathon last year. You know, I can run 30 some miles, which is absolutely insane. I know. You know, but for somebody who's never been an athlete to then turn around and start doing hard enduro stuff, and like, I'm not good at it, but I'm going to do everything I can while I can, because I don't know if my issues are ever going to come back. You know, I don't know if I'm going to get one more year or 6 months, or maybe it never happens again. But, you know, we all have something that could happen to us. And so I think that we live by the societal rules a lot. And I don't feel that we really need to do that. I feel like if you have a passion for something, you can follow it. I mean, obviously, when you have a family and stuff, you know, you make sacrifices for your family, and that's great. But I still feel like if there's something you want to do, you should find a way to do it.
Yeah. I like that makes my heart happy, because I feel like was my mentality for so long. And like, not that I've had, what am I trying to say without saying too much? Like, I've been struggling a bit, like my own mental health, and like kind of lost some spark, some like, and I hate to even admit that like maybe social media even has me influenced, but just with all these stupid, like I'm just so like all the I'm at that golden age of like, is it perimenopause? Are your hormones messed up? Is this happening? Is like, and it's like, well, is it? And then you start like really starting to question things, and like my joints hurt. I'm going in for an MRI on Wednesday. The doctor thinks I may have torn my rotator cuff. Super pissed about that. I know, and I'm like, is this my age? Like,
yeah.
Point being, like hearing you is like the exact. That's how I used to sound all the time, and like I remember I did a trip with Cole Kirkpatrick and Russell Bobbitt, and Russell and I were talking, and he was kind of, I can't remember exactly what he said, but it was like, he was kind of like, dude, you're what a badass. Like, you just go for it. Like, where do you get that? And I was like, I was just so in it at the moment that I was like, I don't know, you can just do whatever you want. It's pretty wild being an adult. You literally can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
And like, that's where I was living then, was just like with this whole world in front of me. And I felt the same way about Romaniacs. Like, I don't even think I told anyone I was signing up. And then I signed up like the day it opened. And I told my husband, of course, and he was like, you're for real. And I was like, I'm doing it. I'm just going to do it. And I made t-shirts to help try and raise some money. And they just said, get busy living, because I felt the same way. Like, I don't, like, I'm not getting any younger. And this is fucking awesome. Like, dirt biking is rad. And the places you could go, and like, I was like, not that I was nervous about talking to you, but I was like, God, am I going to remember anything about Romania? But like, what I do remember is like the views and like the feelings, and like coming around a corner and like seeing, like after not seeing somebody for like an hour, like you see like a big Red Cross, like medical tent out in these like massive mountains. And you're just like, dude, I am out here. Like, that is so, like, it is a really cool feeling. There was times I was riding through fog so dense that like I truly was using GPS to see, like I could see like 10 feet in front of me, but I was like up, down, looking at, that didn't go on for very long, but I was up high enough that, like, it's pretty cool what you are capable of doing. And I think proving that to yourself is like, that's what it's all about. Like, the race is cool, and maybe you're out of your mind to some people, and that makes it even fucking cooler, in my opinion. Because, because, you know, like I shared with you, I lost a good friend 2 weeks ago, like in an accident, and it's like, damn, just like that.
It could be at any time. And I think that's kind of the reason that everything's kind of culminated for me. It was last year was like my year of like growth. Like, I was like really doing a lot. I was traveling across the country like 6 or 7 times last year. And, you know, I rode my dirt bike in like 14 or 15 different states. And, you know, I was doing it. I was brand new, but I was doing it. And people were like, oh my God, I can't believe you're doing this. I'm like, I'm just making it happen. Like, I'm working hard. I'm making sacrifices. Like, you know, I'm obviously having to move a lot, and because my job was traveling, and you know, I'm working a full-time job, and then I was working overtime, and then I'm trying to train, and I was trying to train for the ultra marathon and all these things. Obviously I don't have kids, so it's a little different, but you know, I was making my dreams come true. And then I lost my grandfather at the end of the year last year, and thankfully I was able to get back and be with him. That's what brought me to the West Coast, because I spent most of my time East Coast. And it really, like, my grandpa was my hero, and he's the man who's believed in me my entire life, and it rocked me. And it really, like, changed my perception on a lot of things, and really kind of like, I was struggling with my mindset for a little bit there. And then I found this group of guys, and they've just been absolutely golden. And it's brought me back. Like, I've been able to find my family through dirt biking. And I always say that, like, dirt bikes have brought me so much happiness. They've brought me my family. I have pieces of my heart all over the country because I've got people on the East Coast. I have people on the West Coast. I have people up north. I have people Midwest. I have people overseas even now.
Yeah.
And, you know, I've got people all over, and that's all because of dirt bikes. And
Yeah.
I have so much happiness now. I went from being a depressed, anxious person who couldn't do anything. I couldn't even go to the grocery store by myself. I would get so anxious. Like I had to be on the phone with somebody at the very least. Like I just went to Austria by myself. Like
Dude, I
across the
100%
world.
can relate with that. Like 100%.
Yeah.
I've been right there. Like afraid to live, afraid to die,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
stuck in somewhere you don't want to be. And I feel like, yeah, dirt bikes, and it's just, yeah, I think it's badass. You should absolutely go for it. And like, I know that you will go for it regardless,
Yeah.
like it's like, yeah. And everything we do like that, it is true. Like, um, girls and guys are watching. Like, it is inspiring. I know the first time we went down to the Denver Enduro Cross just to watch it, and I was like, oh, I want to do that someday. And the next year I did it, and I signed up in women's pro class as like a C class girl rider, and I came in last place, and two little girls in the stands asked me for my autograph, and I was like, are you sure you want my autograph? I was like, that's super sweet. Their mom was like, yes, they're positive. That is so inspiring that you just went out there and showed all these girls out here that they don't have to be pro before they do it.
Yeah.
You don't have to be good before, like, all waiting to be as good as our, the people we look up to, like, then no.
That's the thing. It's like, it's such a mentality. And I understand hard enduro is hard. And you don't want to go and you don't want to wreck your bike. I get that. You want to have some skills, but you don't need to be an A-class rider to start. And I think that that's been a huge thing that US hard enduro has really kind of been trying to open up. And especially for women, women have all of the extra things to think about, right? Like a lot of the times we're moms, and like moms of course never want to spend too much money on themselves, and there's all this like, oh, I want to live for myself, I want to inspire my kids, but I also don't want to spend that money, and like all of these things that go into being a woman. And a lot of women, I've been in the clinic setting as somebody, I do a lot of media stuff, so I've done a lot of media for clinics. So being around that, I've seen a lot of women at clinics break down when they drop their bike doing static balance or something like that, and like just start bawling. And it's like, why? Why are you crying? And it's like, oh, I didn't mean to fall. Like, I'm so sorry. And it's always like, we have this image that we need to uphold that we feel. We don't, like, nobody's telling us that, but that's what it feels like. It feels like everybody's watching you in a certain way. And it's like, I have to be this good and I have to push this hard. You don't have to do anything. I take women out on rides, and I'm like, if you're brand new on the bike, I'll go ride with you, and I don't care. I'll help you pick up your bike when you fall because I know what it's like to be there. I was just there. Like, but I just feel like I've started to set an example, and I never meant to do that. The whole purpose of this podcast was just to tell stories, to get people's stories out there, to inspire other people through your guys' stories, not my story. But through that, I have inspired people because I am so new and I am doing these things. And a lot of the things that I do are because people are like, oh, it'd be really cool to see you do that. And I'm like, okay, like I'm the person who's willing to do it. So like, awesome. I'm willing to go sign up for TKO and throw myself, around for if it means inspiring other women. Yeah, heck yeah, why not? So my friend Dana decided to try and get some of the GNCC girls this year and get them to do their first hard enduro. So we had several women sign up for their first hard enduro this year because of this little mini challenge we were doing. And on top of that, I said, all right, if we're going to do this, one of the biggest things that keeps women and holds them back is confidence. So how can I help women build their confidence before this, right? I want to be as supportive as possible. So I talked to Louise Horsley, and that's where this clinic came from, is I was able to work with her, and US Hard Enduro was able to get some funding and get it sponsored. And now that clinic is only $50 for the women. And that is way better than most of the clinics I've ever been to. And so we're going to get learning from one of the top women that's ever been in the sport. And, you know, she's also super amazing. Like as a person, she's so sweet. And so we get to do that the day before the race. And so we get to have the confidence, we get to work and session those things, and we get to meet the other women, because that's the other thing that I heard a lot of. Oh, I don't want to sign up for it and be the only woman. Like, you know, so we have that group, and we're going to help each other and get through. And it's going to, I hope that it opens it up for more women and more people in general, because I hope that even men see this and are inspired. Like, okay, the women can do this. Like, they're at a certain level. Like, I can go in and I can do this too. Like, maybe that sounds terrible the way that I said it, but you know, I just want it to inspire people. Like, that's what it's all about.
I agree. It makes a difference. I mean, we are all influenced, whether we want to admit it or not. And I think sometimes it does take, I think maybe, you know, like I'm not the typical female, and you're likely not the typical female. And that's why we pushed and did things that we're doing. But other people do need to see that it's like, and it's okay to fail, and it's okay to post your fails. Like my last Instagram post was me like just hugely on the struggle bus, like so bad. I was like, I gotta just, like, most of my Instagram or my face GoPro that day was all me on the ground picking up my bike. I was like, all right, well, I guess I'm gonna post that because it's funny. And I just had a friend, Heather, a few weeks ago. We took her on the hardest ride of her life. And I knew right where she was mentally. Like, she wanted to give up at the beginning of the ride. And I was like, no, it's too early. Like, you've got this. And she's short. And so she was struggling with all that stuff. And I mean, the ride, it was challenging, and she pushed and pushed and pushed, and we got out. And I mean, she looked spent, right? Like, she was like, tapped. And I was like, I didn't lose a friend today, did I? And she was like, no, not at all. And of course, as soon as she was recovered, probably even before she was recovered, she was like, that was awesome. Like,
it's that confidence. It's type 2 fun. So it's not always fun in the moment, but it's fun later when you think about it.
Totally.
That's kind of like one of the guys this weekend. I had never ridden with him before, and so he was kind of telling me that. And I was like, oh, I'm having fun. I was like, I know it looks like I'm like dying. I was like, my face gets really flushed. But yeah, I was like, I love this. I was like, I'm learning a lot. And I was like, this is so good for me. And then he came back a little bit later because he went back up the mountain, and they were playing up there, and I was struggling on the hill. And he came back a little bit later, and I was just laughing. And he's like, well, I think that's a good sign. I was like, it is. Like, I usually laugh when I fall, and I'm like usually giggling, and like if I make it up something, I typically laugh quite a bit. But I always say, like, I do hard things for fun. Like, I chose this. Like, I can't be upset because I'm out here dying. Like, I decided to do this because I'm crazy. So, like, I always just say that I do hard things for fun. Like, when I'm on the trail, a lot of the times on my GoPro, you can just hear me like whispering it. Like, I'm like reminding myself, like, as I'm like terrified, I'm just like, I do hard things for fun. I do hard things for fun. I do hard things for fun. And then I just like send it down the hill. I'm like, oh my God.
That's awesome.
But
well, there'll be some good stuff. And the last thing I'll say about Romaniacs too would just be like the something that I was intimidated by, and I made it through, but I'd still be intimidated to do it again, is they make these silly little ramps and things that you gotta like ride up, and then they teeter totter down and like over rivers. And they do have some weird obstacles like that out there, and I would say like you just gotta go. You just gotta go. It's one of those things like maybe watch a person do it, but
you just send it at that point.
Honestly, yeah. But that was like even at the very end, like the famous hill climb at the end. You go probably like a quarter of the way up and cut out and do some other stuff. But coming down, they have like the very end. Of course, they want you to just destroy every last bit of yourself or bike that you have in you. I know my bike was like stuck, like suctioned down into the mud after I fell off of like a balance beam and like, but everybody's cheering. I was like grunting, screaming, trying to pick up my bike, but I don't know. You just give it all you got at the very end. There's some interesting stuff out there.
If you could pick anywhere in the world to go and ride, whether it was a race or just a ride, where would you pick to go other than Romania?
It kind of sounds lame because I've been there, but New Zealand was so pretty. I went there to snowboard, but the mountains, I think it would be an epic place to ride.
Yeah. I know a couple people who ride in New Zealand. It's pretty epic, I've heard. Yeah.
It just looks beautiful.
If you decide to go, let me know. I know a girl who I could hook you up with, and she could take you some hard enduro out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a cool place.
That'd be sick.
Yeah.
That would be awesome. But New Zealand's a place that I've always wanted to go as well. Iceland is another big one. Turkey. Dude, I kind of want to go everywhere.
Like, sea to sky. I hear it's like one of the most enjoyable hard enduros.
So Radford Chug said that last year before he did it. And I was like, I think they say that because it's like all inclusive. It's like at a resort. Right. And like there's a pool and like there's food all right there and everything. It was like, and then you can like go to the beach and like it's right there. I was like, so it's the most enjoyable. Yeah, exactly. It was like, and I asked him later, I was like, so how was it? And he's like, it was fun.
Oh, yeah. It does look hard. The wet would be tough on rock and
Yeah, I think that the hardest part, well, for me personally, I suck at sand, so the whole beach thing would be terrible.
Yeah.
But like, if I could one day make it to Mount Olympus, that peak that they go up at the end, and like that would be the coolest thing ever. Like that is a dream. Like I've always wanted to do Erzberg, so I want to do Erzberg one day and like have the skill to like be a finisher at Erzberg. I don't know if that'll ever happen, but
Dude, those downhills look sketchy too. Damn.
There's everything looks sketchy there. Oh my god, being there, and like I got to do a tour in the helicopter, and I was on the helicopter and I posted a video of it, and at one point we come around the mine and like there's this like 100-foot crane that I had been standing next to on a different tour when I had been in a vehicle, and now I'm in the helicopter, and I'm like, this 100-foot crane looks like this little toy. It's like this big, and I'm like, oh my god. As we're going by it, I was like, this place is huge.
Yeah, wild.
It like videos that I had seen, like they don't show everything, but some of those hills that they don't show are wild, and I was like, I don't even understand how they get up this stuff. Like
seriously,
it is so loose. Like there's one spot, they did show this spot in all of the clips that I saw. It took Billy Bolt like 3 or 4 tries to make it up, and then it started pouring rain, and like it hailed. It dropped like 20 degrees in like 10 minutes. It was absolutely insane. And then all of a sudden there was traction, and everybody after Billy was able to get up like fairly easily after that. Not super easy, but it was fairly easy compared to what it was. So I felt bad for him because like it took him like 3 or 4 tries to get up there. Right. It is insane because like for Billy Bolt to struggle that much, like dang man, like, it was gnarly.
that was the cherry on top finishing Romaniacs. Billy and Roxy were down there at the finish. He didn't race that year. He was hurt. So I was like,
yeah.
oh my God. Anyways, I was fanning it up. Got a picture with
Heck
him.
yeah.
I was telling
That's
Roxy, I was like,
awesome.
my Matt is like your Billy. That's what I always call him. Roxy and I are tiny, and then Matt's big like Billy. I'm like, dang, that's awesome. Yeah, that was pretty badass.
So
I was
cool.
excited to see that at the end.
Yeah.
I was excited for anything. I think I just wanted like a Pepsi. I can't even remember. I just wanted food and like I wanted Starbucks so bad. Oh man, just any of the snacks and sugar.
After the race was done, did you stay in Romania or did you come back right away?
We had to come back right away, which was also cool. I'm pretty sure we got awards that night, which was at like an event, a party, and then my flight out of there the next day, which you could tell who was flying out that had been racing. There's like people like passed out in the airport everywhere. It would have been cool to stay. I know like Matt and Skylar were ready to get home because they did have time to be around and like they had to drive,
explore,
places, and it was cool. There's a lot of really pretty views. Like it's just a different place, right? Like, and the dogs. Has anybody scared you about the wolf dogs yet?
Oh, no.
No. Yeah, they have. I don't know. I mean, they always have like the wolf on their logo, Romaniacs.
Yeah.
So, have you seen or encountered sheepdogs before where you ride? Okay, big ass white dogs.
Yeah, out in Wyoming. Yeah.
Okay, and they'll chase you right off their property and they'll snap at you. Yeah, they're pretty scary. So there's dogs out there. I don't know if they're wolves or part wolf dog. I don't know what the hell they are. They're massive and they will chase you down, and it's quite scary. And it happened in a group, a couple like for the just on our like guided tour. We came across that, and they do warn you about it. But it's kind of in your head. You're like, okay, just don't fall. Holy shit.
Yeah.
And then I know like one day, this is just different countries' life. We came around and there was like a little baby goat like tied up to a tree. And I was like, oh my God, look at the little goat. And I was like wanting to be its friend. And I think the guide actually did untie it, but I was like, what was that all about? And he's like, oh, it's just bait for something. I don't know what goes on around there. I was like, this is so weird. It's just not like America, you know? I was like, goat. But the big dogs. You'll have to ask some other people about it because I wonder how many people encounter them.
I think they just all came after you.
Right? They're like, oh, she's small.
Yeah. We're snack size. Right? Recently I was running out here and I went to work. My boss lives kind of by me and he's got a trail cam. He's like, look at what I caught on the trail cam this weekend. Like 3 miles from where I was running is a cougar and its baby. And I was like, oh, cool.
They've been watching you.
He scrolled to the next one. There's a bear. There's black bear. And I was like, all right, cool. Next one, bobcat. I was like, what else? Like all in the area that I was running. So I was like, I'm going to switch where I run. I feel like that's kind of a dangerous area.
Crazy.
On my bike, it's one thing because like you're on the bike, like you said, you can outrun it probably, or at least scare it away.
Yeah.
But when you're running, like especially with a cougar, like that's going to trigger its instincts to kill. So, but that's so I have run into a lot of wildlife on trails, most of it running, but I have encountered moose. I have encountered sheepdogs and sheep, bears. Yeah, lots of fun stuff. So
I was just the other day, like we were riding and I had my bike off, my bag out. I was having a snack, waiting for the guys to roll up, and I could hear them like talking. They were just like stopped behind me. And there was this little hummingbird and it was like flying all around me and I was filming it and I was laughing and I posted it. I was like, oh my God, I'm like afraid of the hummingbird because it kept like coming like right in my face and around my, anyways, it was funny because I was like, why am I afraid of this bird? I put my phone away, get everything in my pack. I turn around and there's a bear just standing there watching me freak out about this hummingbird. And I was like, okay. I just like stopped for a second. I was like, hey guys, there's a bear. But as soon as they turned on their bike, it took off. But I just thought it was hilarious. I was like, what are the chances? I wish I would have had my phone and been like, here I am.
Did you go back and look at the video? Like, did you maybe catch it?
I didn't.
Oh, okay.
Because I was like, because I had even taken a picture of the single track ahead where it was before the hummingbird. And I was like, I wonder if I'll see his little eyes or something in the woods. But
yeah,
he was chill. He looked like he was like my size. I don't know.
He was a young guy.
Yeah. He was a young guy. But yeah, I was like,
oh
my gosh, that's hilarious. Yeah.
Well, we kind of talked about mindset already and like kind of where you were at. If you went back to Romaniacs, like, do you feel like you'd be in a better place mentally because you've been there already, or just even because you have more experience?
Yes. Today, no. But like if I were planning to go next year or something,
yeah.
Yes. I feel like I know what I would do to help. I don't really think I trained well for Romaniacs. I think I just sent it, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't know what to train for. I didn't really talk to anybody.
Yeah.
I kind of mentioned, I think something as simple as packing the right foods.
Mm-hmm.
And just
that can throw off your whole day. Like,
that was a huge
properly.
And even just like being prepared for like different kinds of food. Like, I guess I just didn't even look that up. I don't know. I just went in there blind. I straight up did. I was like, whatever, let's send it. Let's go. We're going. Hope it works, you know? But I think the fueling of your body would have helped my mental a lot. Like, there's no doubt, right, that I was like lacking on calories and certain fuel. And I think knowing what I know now, there was a couple meltdowns out there, you know, of crying or like where I would hope that now I'd be like, take a moment to just have that reset and do whatever I needed to do, even if it was a snack on this. Like, it's weird because you're racing, but you really got to think the long game. Like,
it's not a sprint. Like, it's hours and hours. That's what I do for ultra running. Like, if I'm out doing 20, 30 miles, you know, I'm gonna let myself slow down and have snacks. I mean, I walk sometimes too because I'm still new. I can't just run straight 30 miles. But it's part of pushing. Like, and I feel like that's really helped my mindset for hard enduro. So, okay, mindset we talked about, like, kind of you didn't really train for.
I really didn't. I didn't. Like, my training.
So if you were to, if you're going to do it again or to recommend, what would you recommend? Would you recommend like cardio? Would you recommend strength? What would you work on personally if you were going back?
I mean, I definitely I just work out. So like if you're not working out, I'd be lifting weights 3 days a week and doing your cardio, like whatever that is that you enjoy. But like, I would definitely be putting in 80-mile days.
Okay. On the bike
without taking pictures you know what I mean? Like doing an 80-mile day and maybe having one stop, because they do have you do a mandatory 30-minute stop. So like maybe even taking 30 minutes out there, because some of us, like myself, I don't do so great after I sit down for 30 minutes. I'm like,
I'm great. Like, that's my second wind. Like,
right. And I'm kind of a slow starter and a good finisher. Like when everybody else is tapping out, I'm like just getting started kind of feeling. So I would definitely I would try and do like 4 or 5 rides in a row like that. Weeks before, not right before. And it sounds like you're already working on, like for me, I would downhill. That'd be the my biggest focus. And then obviously I would be focused on making sure I'm doing the hard enduro rides and struggling in the woods for 6 hours at a time with the guys, you know, and like making sure like riding the stuff that you are afraid of and that you know you're not good at. Because we all like to do, it's fun to go do the trail that you know, even when it's hard, but you know you can do it. It's like, that's great, but you should go do all the stuff that you kind of suck at. So you
see, and that's the advantage or disadvantage that I've had, is that since I started riding and like actually getting into riding, I've been traveling. So I went from North Dakota to California to Georgia to Maine to Tennessee to all these other places in between. And like those are just the places I lived last year.
Wow.
And like that's a lot of change for somebody who's new. So I think it was James Flynn I was talking to about whether or not that was actually good, because it's great for you to go out and like adventure and like get used to seeing things on the trail and having to react in that split second.
Right.
But at the same time, when you're really new, it's also a huge advantage to like do the same thing over and over and build that confidence, like you said. Whereas I had maybe 6 rides in one area at max, and like that was it. Until I got out here. And even now, like I have land out here that I ride all, like when I go train during the week. So 3 or 4 days a week I try and be on the bike. And I'm trying to just get used to being on the bike, getting rid of that visual intimidation and sessioning little things that I find, because I'm doing this by myself, so I'm not trying to go full on hard enduro and be crazy by myself, but you know, trying to get some training in. But when I'm with the guys, almost every single time, I don't think we've been back to the same place when I'm with them. I think we've been to a new place every single time. So it's a new fear unlocked every single time, because I have no idea what I'm getting myself into. The boys always have like something different to take me to, and I'm like, whew, all right, what am I in for this time? So
you got to see if you can go back to some of the, like get to some of these spots for a second time and just see how your mind and body react to the same thing that maybe you failed on the first time. Maybe you just send it the second time, you know? Sometimes that's all it takes. There's so many different races I've done or trail rides where the second time I've gone, I'm like, oh, that was nothing.
You're like,
not nothing, but it's just like you're ready. And so you knew you're going to commit and like, And I don't know about you. I'm a really good follower, like following lines. And so definitely like when you trust somebody you're riding with, if you can like have them kind of tow you around like something hard, and just if you trust them and just can stay on their back tire, that really does kind of prove to yourself that it's doable.
That's
and then
the hard part.
Like,
a lot of the times, like when we're riding, the boys will break off and they'll go like up the non-trail to the left or right of where we are and then jump back on it. And I'm like, I can't, like, holy, I don't even know how you got up there. Like mountain goating up the side, you know? So it's kind of hard to follow those guys sometimes. Sometimes if it's a really gnarly section, they'll slow down and they kind of like signal for me to follow them. And in that case, like I know, okay, I've got to follow this line or whatever. But then I know they're just picking something easy for me, and that's not the actual lines. But there have been a couple times where they've gone up stuff and I missed the signal. Like this one time I was like halfway up a section and I freaking flew out of it. I was like, I fell high-sided. And Cody comes back and he's like, what are you doing? You crazy? I told you to go over there. And I was like, I missed that completely. He's like, yeah, I thought you were just being crazy and trying to do it. I was like, no, I didn't realize that this was the hard level. I was like, but I got like halfway, so that was kind of cool. But yeah, we went back and I was like, oh, this is way easier.
Nice.
When I fell, I was like, what the hell do they think that I just magically in a week could get that
Right?
much better? Like, what?
Got it.
Yeah, like maybe now I could go back and do that line, but like it's been a couple months. So a couple months versus a week, it's a little different. So I try and improve every time I'm on the bike. Like that's my thing is like I try to work on the things that are hard that I'm not comfortable with. Because that's the only way to get better. That's the way to progress. And I try and session stuff. So I don't go on a lot of super, super long trail rides, but I have been trying to go on more of them. Like I said, I did that 12-hour day. We probably only did like 50 miles though, total, I think, is what my watch said. So I mean, I still need to do more than that even.
I'd get some long days in because like long mileage days, because even though you're fit and running and all the things, like it.
Oh, it's different on the bike.
Like, there's nothing like the seat time, right? And so it does, because your body, like that was like our place didn't have a bathtub, just a shower, and I like stood in an ice shower like a couple nights. I was like, I don't know, I eat Advil, like my body was definitely like help, you know. But
that's
truly I say that, but like I was in riding shape, but it's just that's a lot of time and effort and like adrenaline, truly, like that wears you out. So that's like
well, and then the elevation, if you're not used to it, like I don't go on a ton of elevation, so like that's going to be another factor for me. I need to get some elevation training in, because how high, do you know how high you guys were?
I don't know what the elevation is there. I mean, we were, it looked like we were up there, but I'm used to riding, like I'm always at like 10,000 feet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm doing like, we gain a lot, but if you ever want to come down here,
I was going to say, I got to come out and ride out there.
I've got we actually have a lot of hard enduro. I would say it's more like a medium enduro, but good, because we'll put on like 40-mile loops in about 4 hours that are hard.
Okay.
So it's like go.
Heck
you can hop like 100 logs in 10 miles.
Sounds like a wonderfully terrible time.
Yes. Yeah, hopefully we'll see what my MRI says. I'm really hoping it's just like
it's gonna be fine. It's
an old lady
totally fine.
Yeah, exactly.
Just take some collagen and it'll be all right.
It'll be good. That's what we're going with.
Okay, one of the things that I like asking people, because we have a lot of people who are just getting into riding who listen to this podcast. What is your best advice for somebody who's brand new to riding in general?
Dang. Well, I mean, bike.
It's hard.
I know it is hard. Like I have all the advice, right? No, I ride. So I do host sometimes like these ladies rides, and a lot of times it's beginner-ish, and it's crazy how many bikes I've jumped on to help them get out of situations or whatever, and their bike setup in general is just ew. Like, who helped you do this? Why did they do it this way? That is like a very simple one that I think there's plenty of places online that you could find credible. And I mean, I'm talking like simple stuff, like, are your levers positioned correctly? Like a lot of girls, guys, whoever, like start on kind of crappy bikes. Like a used, like run down. It's just not the same as like a new bike anymore, right? So like, it's kind of, sometimes I'm like, well, no wonder you're struggling with this. Like this bike is struggling itself. Like bikes. So like making sure bar position, peg, seat, all the obvious things, but like truly going through all that. Like I remember my first bike, I don't even know if I changed the air filter like all summer. Like I didn't even know, you know what I mean? Or like I never let like the air out of my forks, or who knows what the triple clamps were torqued to, probably an insane, like nothing. I can't imagine anything was moving smoothly on my first bike compared to a bike now where I check my spokes, my air pressure, I've got bibs, everything is in working order all the time. So that would be like one thing. And then as far as just your bike, and then I don't know how you say this or do this as a new rider. I don't even know how I would have done it, but like, I'm like you, I've done a lot of clinics with a lot of different people, and I've paid for some really good instruction, even online. I think there's Josh Knight. I don't know if you've heard of him. He's not necessarily a hard enduro guy, but he does a whole Ride with the Knights course. And his instruction, the way he explains things, and I don't know, I think that goes a long way. I've pushed that on quite a few of my friends. I'm like, dude, if you're serious about, if you really want to get better, because there's some people who are like, oh, I wish I was as good as you or whatever. And I'm like, do you? Because I worked for it. Like, I didn't just wake up and know
you
how
have
to
the
do
discipline to do it, to make it happen. Like that's part of that mindset, right? Like, and then that goes back to the confidence. Like, I read something a while back that said, like, you can fake a lot of things, but you can't fake riding a bike. Like, you really can't. You can say it all you want, but like, you have to put in the time to get better. You can't just magically be better. I mean, there's a couple people who jump on a bike and they're like good at everything.
Right.
But
yeah, exactly. But I would say, like, I think that's wise. I think I taught my dad to ride a dirt bike just a few years ago, and he was an electrical engineer, so he's like very precise and needs to analyze everything. And like, I saw him a lot of instructional videos, and it helped a ton. I think for the right person, obviously, like, being on the bike is one thing, but not always just listening to your boyfriend or your homies.
That was literally going to be my next question is, does your husband have anything to do with your instruction? Because I have found that most women, not all, but most women cannot take instruction from their husband because it is just like, it causes so many issues.
Like,
it's
Matt
like a communication breakdown.
100%. And like Matt, I actually bought a dirt bike before my husband, and I got it, and I learned how to ride it up and down this gravel road. And I was like, called him. He was just my boyfriend. And I was like, look, if you don't buy a dirt bike, I don't know if we're ever going to see each other again. That's basically how it went. And so he bought a dirt bike, and he comes from downhill mountain biking.
Oh, okay.
Definitely one of those guys that's just kind of good at stuff, which is annoying because we started at the same time, and he's faster than me and better than me. Yeah, it's pretty annoying. So I wouldn't say he gave me a ton of advice, but we do ride together a lot. And like, it's the same. Like, he could tell me something and I could be like, oh, that's so whatever. And then his best friend would tell me the same thing, and I'd be like, okay, yeah, I'll do it. It's just dynamic. But I think, I've seen a lot of boyfriends or even just friends give really terrible advice, or like the people who are just, I don't even know what you call them. Like, if you rode with me just on like a Jeep road, you'd be like, wow, she sucks. I am not going to be fast on a Jeep road. I'm not going to do it. I'm not doing it. I want to be, that's where you get hurt. And then there's the people who are like fifth gear pin, just like, and I'm like, so there's that type of rider out there who's just like sending it in a straight line everywhere they go, and then blowing the corners, and like, don't listen to that guy. Like, listen, smooth is fast.
And I think that kind of goes back to like the learning. I think that's really important to learn how to do things properly and safely, in my opinion. That's why I've put a lot of time into it, because like I said, a lot of my riding has been done alone. So in order to have the confidence to do it alone, especially at my low level, I've really wanted to learn how to do things the proper way. So that's been a huge thing for me. Yeah.
That is huge. I think a lot of men, it seems, don't take the time to do the drills.
Yeah.
Maybe not hard drill guys, just I don't know. Maybe it's an ego thing. That is so helpful. Like I said, like even like 5 or 10 minutes of drills in a parking lot before you go ride can change your entire ride.
Yeah. And like I said, I've had to do it because I've started from, like I said, square -20. Like I am just getting to the point where like I said, I did single track this weekend. I wasn't that great at it, but because my buddy literally came up to me, I was freaking out about this downhill, and he goes, "It's not that bad. Like just watch me do it." And he's like, "But this is your static balance drill." He's like, "Just use that." And then it like clicked in my head, and I made it down, and I was fine. And I made it most of the way down the next one until I got to the visual intimidation factor of we were basically going down like a range chute, and it got super rocky really quick, and I was going so fast, and I was like, I can't do this. And I just like hesitated, and then I slid, and then I dumped it. And then I walked it like a baby from there because we were almost at the bottom, but it was like such a pinch point. And I was like, I don't know how you're supposed to ride through this because I honestly wasn't sure that my pegs were going to make it through the rock. Like, unless you hit it just perfectly. And I was like, I have balance, but I don't know if it's that good. So I was like, I was so tired at that point that I was like, okay, I'm just going to be safe. So I walked it. But yeah, having that like little bit, and it, like you said, it helps that the guys that I ride with, there's no romantic affiliation. There's no there's nothing like that. So I don't have that, thankfully. It's just my buddies telling me how to do something, and there's no like snappy like, oh my god, why are you saying it like this or anything like that.
Know why that happens. It's very typical though. Like it's
the only time that I get like that, and I will say this does kind of happen with I think I've done it to most of the guys, is when they say, just put your foot here. And I'm like, my foot does not reach.
Yeah.
So like, then I'll get snappy. And I'm like, no, I can't do that. Like, they said something this weekend about like, just paddle. And I was like, no, there's no paddling up this. Like my feet barely touch the ground. So the fact that this is slightly off camber, my leg is not touching the ground on this side at all. And it's barely touching on this side. So I was like, paddling is not really a thing. I'm working on extra balance stuff now because I've realized that going up some of the stuff that the guys can paddle through, I have to just kick my legs out and not try to put a foot down. I can't dab the same way that they do. So I have to compensate for that somehow. And so like I'm trying to like balance off balance now and try to like move the bike a little bit more from side to side while staying balanced. And just kind of balance to the side of the bike, because that's what I'm realizing as I'm going up some of these rocky hill climbs, and the bike kind of gets off like that. I need to be able to do that. So it's all about balance. I've seen a couple girls online who like do the balance challenges and stuff, and they like go all the way around their bike. I'm like, at first I was like, that's just a trick, but now being short, I'm like, maybe I need to do that.
It's super helpful, and like, it's quite surprising riding with anybody on any terrain how much tall people rely on being able to dab, and how much I get comments a lot how much of a smooth rider I am. And I think the smooth comes from the fact that I'm not taking my feet off my pegs. Like like it's not an option, right? It's just not an option. So
I've been told a lot that I ride with good form, and I'm like, I don't really have an option. Like, there's been a couple times, like I realized a while back that I had to stop following people how they do things, because like watching somebody do something, and again seeing them paddle, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna have to do that too. And then I was falling all the time, and then I was like, no, I just have to super commit, and like that's extra scary, but that's again why I've gone back to the balance. Like it's a huge thing, and I'm not great at it. I'm way better than I was, but still working on it. It's still something I'm gonna have to keep working on. I'm working on, you know, like I said, the moving the bike side to side. I'm also working on just even simply turning at a static balance, turning the wheel and just turning it from side to side. Like that's not easy to stay balanced and do that. And then the next level is hopping the front end in like a semicircle, but I haven't quite gotten there yet because I'm really bad at compressing the forks, and like I have to like throw my whole body forward, and I haven't. That's hard to balance. So I'm still working on it, but
that is tough. I can't do that.
They're all things that are gonna help me out on the trail. So it's all stuff that sucks to fall so much and sucks to, you know, my neighbor sits there and watches me while I do my drills, and he just kind of giggles. He's this older guy and he'll just giggle and every time I fall, and I'm like, so glad this is entertaining. But
that's so good. I need to do more drills. I need to, like, you're inspiring me right now to get back out there and do them because they're like, they are fun. They're time consuming. And I feel like
you can make it into a game. Yeah.
And they do. It makes a huge difference. And it's pretty rad when you get something. You're like, do you guys see that?
Yeah. Well, and I do a lot of like I think we talked about that, like being able to film myself, like to make sure my form is right. And but then it's also like, hey, you guys, I got this. Like it's cool to be able to, like, I have like a group of like 6 friends and we all just like send stuff to each other all the time, and I'm like, look guys, look what I did.
That's awesome.
So yeah, it's really cool. I think the community that is around these events, whether it's just the race or just trail riding in general, the community is the best part about this, because there's more to life than just dirt biking. My buddy and I were talking about it this weekend. Like, we would all love to ride our bikes all the time, but families are important. You know, there's friends are important. And I think that finding a good balance, if you can have the same friends that you ride with be those people that you are basically doing life with, like, that's the coolest thing. And for me, being someone who travels all the time, like I said, my heart is all across the world. I can go to so many events on different coasts and even overseas. I went out there and my friend got me a tent and an air mattress and a sleeping bag, so I didn't have to take it on the plane. And I was able to tent and camp with them and explore everything with them. And it was so cool. And like, that's all just from bikes. Like, that's amazing.
It is.
So I just want everybody to get into dirt biking. Everybody would be so much happier. The world would have so many less problems.
I agree. We'd all be broke together.
Yes, exactly. Well, in our last couple minutes here, is there any shout outs or thank yous that you want to give?
Oh, geez, you put me on the spot. There's a name, you know, I'd probably forget someone and feel bad, but I will say that I feel super grateful for all the people I have met along the way from the very beginning. Nicole Bradford was somebody who happened to live near me and was like a 7-time ISDE gold medalist, female rider. And like, something about, I'm all about riding with the guys, but something about riding with a female who's better than you will really push you, because a guy can do stuff and you can easily be like, well, he's a dude, so it's okay if I don't.
She can do it, I can do it.
100%. So like, she definitely helped the progression. And like, our close buddy Rob Reed out here, just like all the people who are better than you that take the time to bring you along. Like,
yes,
honestly, it means so much. Like, they're all the ones that made me fall in love and like see what was possible. And then, everyone has played a part in it. But I really love like Destry Abbott. Like I said, we've done a couple clinics with him and he's just been, it's so cool to meet people like that. And they're just, I've never been like a big, like starstruck person, truly. Like, I'm like, oh, they're just people In fact, when I met Nicole, I didn't even know who she was. And everybody's like, oh my God, you're riding with Nicole. And I was like, I don't know. Like, I just started dirt biking. I don't even know who these people are, you know? So it was like maybe rude or not. I don't know. I was just new. I didn't know. But
yeah,
Destry, Cole and Russell have played like a really big part in my dirt bike world, just between riding with them, chatting with them, inspiring.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Yeah, that's a loaded question because I will forget people, but everyone has played a part. Everyone.
Yeah, that's really awesome.
Yeah,
I love it. Well, I really appreciate you taking this time, sitting down with me, letting me pick your brain about all things Romania, because like I'm super stoked about this. Like I'm incredibly nervous, but I have a year to prepare. I know what I need to work on. Well, I have an idea of what I need to work on rather, because like you said, you don't really know until you get there and you're in it. I mean, but yeah, I think it's going to be amazing, and I think you should think about going back.
I should. It would be sick. Maybe.
Yeah.
July 26th, maybe.
Yep.
Okay, we'll see what's up with my shoulder, you know?
Yeah. So in like a couple of weeks, we'll be like, yep, we're doing this.
Right? Maybe. I need something
Heck
big.
yeah.
I need like another. I
To
thrive
push
on
you.
that.
Yeah. We should get like as many women as we can to go over there. Like that would be cool. Like a women's team almost to go over there. But really, like anybody, like I said, I want to see more Americans go over there. Look at what Tobin Miller just got 4th in silver. He was kicking butt, dude.
Yeah.
I was so proud of him. This dude from Iowa. Like you think about Iowa and you're like, there's like, it's flat. I mean, and I know it's not now, but like, you know, that's what people think of. And like this kid from Iowa just got 4th. The one day he got what, 2nd place? And I was like, oh my God, dude, this is amazing. Like,
that was really
this is
impressive.
so cool.
That was super impressive.
It's incredible because I started watching this kid last year, and like they have a term, they're the millers, right? And so like millering is kind of just like sending your bike, and just like they were known for that. And like just sending their bikes and being kind of wild. I mean, they're good, but like they're kind of crazy guys. And then over the last year being part of Champion Brick Racing, they've kind of like really dialed in, and Tobin really started hitting it hard in this last year. And I just like watched his confidence at the end of the season last year like just skyrocket, and I was like, this kid's gonna go somewhere next year. And sure enough, like this season he's been improving, and then to do Romaniacs, and he's just been kicking butt. So it's really cool. Like I'm not related to him, but I feel like a proud aunt or something, and I'm like, oh my God, like look at him. Like
I mean, we don't even know. I didn't know. Yeah, my husband and I watched everything. We're friends with Nick Wortham, and so we were watching all his stuff. But I was like, dude, like what? Like what's happening? That was really impressive because I know how good of a rider Nick is, and like, damn, that is a tough ass race. Yeah, you're gonna kill it.
So proud. Yeah, I think that if I, you know, when I get there, I have the expectation to just finish. That's my only thing. I don't have dreams of podiums or anything like that. I just want to finish. And I think by then I definitely can. So.
And you can DNF one day. That was not that you want to, but you can.
Oh, but like
nice safety blanket, you know?
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Yes.
Awesome.
Sick.
Well, thank you again so much, and I'll hopefully be in touch soon about coming out to Colorado before it starts snowing out there.
Right. I'd love that. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. I'll talk to you later.
Alrighty. Bye.
Bye.